Leftovers is live. Hassan v. Ethan lol. Are they fighting?
The occupiers
I don't-
are
I-
not civilians. That is what it comes
Yeah.
down to. Like if imagine
French-
like if
Sorry, go on.
Germany, let's say Germany to be non
That's him, right?
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
controversial.
And not that it matters.
invaded the United States, and they said, you know what, Cincinnati, Ohio is our ancestral home, and
True.
you know everyone knows that's blatantly false. But they take your home, they murder your grandma,
What's up, Harris?
they bulldoze like your neighbor's house. Are those people civilians there? No, they're occupiers, and those are criminals. There are no civilians there. In the
So-
illegal-
You wanna
So
pause it?
according to second thought,
Obviously, being a settler or being a participant in a settler colonial project does not make you a militant, and it doesn't make you a criminal. That is not what those words means. It makes you a settler. You know, it's like that terminological thing where people keep falling into this pit, and people do this time and time again, where they feel like the purpose of many of these terms is to carry moral weight. So if they want to describe something having a bunch of moral weight, they just throw more terms on top of it. It's the same mental disease that leads a lot of lefties when they're making a criticism of doing this, like, I think this person is a problematic, trans-misogynistic, transphobic, da, 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 where they like layer more shit on top of as if they think they're trying to rack up like a multiplier combo, and it doesn't like add to the description or the meaning. It takes away from the meaning, you know?
he says that every Israeli is an occupier and there are no citizens there in response to decapitating
there are
babies,
two
which I
different
can now say.
there are two different schools of thought here. So the first is
And the take in the
19
comments is based. I think it's an extremely evil thing to say, what he said.
Let me ask you this.
No. What do you think what he said is evil?
I think it is, one, unproductive, and two, it does not meet the realities on the ground. And
Holy shit, Hasan has put on his fucking optics glove and his optics hat and his optics coat today. Holy shit. Oh my god. Hasan is coming out here in his optics gear. He's huffed a big fucking line of optics before coming out here. He is being so measured in his response. He's trying so hard to keep all of these lines together, you know?
it's not a viable solution.
So calling, just to be clear, calling babies
No, of course not.
settlers,
Of course.
and they're not even living.
They're
on,
not.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
they're
okay.
babies.
So I
Now,
just want to
listen,
say,
listen.
I just
I
want
have a
to
question for
say
you. I have a
that this
question for you.
guy's a fucking evil piece of shit for saying that.
Can I ask you a question?
Can I finish? Let me finish the
Okay,
video.
we'll finish this, but I do
Yes.
have a question for you because
Yeah.
I think you're going to agree
Controversial.
with something I'm about to say.
Yes. Let's just finish it and then we'll talk.
invaded the United States, and they said, you know what, Cincinnati, Ohio is our ancestral home, and you know everyone knows that's blatantly false. But they take your home, they murder your grandma, they bulldoze like your neighbor's house. Are those people civilians there? No, they're occupiers, and those are criminals.
Okay, the people who bulldozed your house and murdered your mom, I assume would be the IDF, who are soldiers. All of the people involved here are settlers, but that doesn't mean that all the settlers aren't civilians. You can be a settler and a civilian. A civilian, the civilian distinction is just civilian or military, basically. It's combatant or non-combatant. You know, settler is a modifier, but it doesn't determine either of those.
That is, there are no civilians there in the illegal military occupation.
Yeah. So that's number one.
I mean, that's so callous. It's kind of hard to fucking even believe just how flippant he can be about calling babies militants that are deserving to be killed.
Hakim and Second Thought are actually evil. Yeah, I think Yagupnik is better, though. He was supposed to come on stream and talk like ages ago, and I recently remembered to message him, and he didn't message back, so he might have like shifted over more, but he's not like them. He's better than them, I think.
But let's not obfuscate, okay? I understand what you're saying, but this dude just called babies militants.
No, I understand. And there are baby settlers as
evil.
well. But there are baby settlers as well. There are babies in the settlements.
But the babies that killed were not.
I know.
Okay, so
Now
here's
that we established that,
Yeah.
no, hold on. Now that we established that, the other school of thought here is that all matter of Israelis living on Israel proper are
Guys, the babies, a settler, like if you're a settler or like a colonist or whatever, you can be that as a baby or a 95-year-old. This is why you can't attach moral weight to the term. The term like this baby is a colonist, like a baby can be a colonist, a baby can be a settler. That's why the term settler should not in your mind immediately go like, oh, a valuable target to kill or whatever. Like the term simply describes the relationship that you have to the land that you're on. That's the case whether or not you made a choice to do it or not. It's just a descriptor of your relationship to the land. Settler, colonist, civilian, whatever. The only thing you really can't have, I guess, is like a non-civilian baby, because it's a baby. A baby can't be a legitimate military target.
They're also
fair, but second thought implied the consequence of that. That's because second thought is saying you can't be a civilian if you're a settler, which is bullshit. All settlers are civilians. Otherwise, they would be in the military. They would be in the occupational force. Well, I guess you can have a person who is a settler, but who is also a soldier in the area they're settling. But then I guess I would just call them a soldier, not really like a settler, whatever.
Doing the exact same thing in the eyes of some. I do not agree with that because...
Hold on. Now consider. Now let's ground our priors and consider the hypotheticals at play here. Let's isolate the variables so we can determine what we actually believe.
I know your position on like violently seizing back your land from settler occupiers.
Yeah, that's not what they did though. And that's
these
who
guys.
he's talking
No, these guys, or at least I assume second thought has the perspective that all matter of Israel is all matter of Israel proper is considered settler occupation.
And he's evil for thinking that. He is. Right after babies were murdered and decapitated.
All
I can say that
it's
now.
not 19,
let me read his further.
If he said this in 1949, I'd have a different opinion on the matter. You can't say this in 2023. I agree.
Let me read this. Thank you for agreeing. What's going on in occupied Palestine is unprecedented. No doubt we'll have wall-to-wall coverage of atrocities now that it's the genocidal settlers on the receiving end. This is what liberation struggle looks like. Solidarity and victory to the Palestinian people. He's saying this is what liberation struggle looks like. Beheading babies, burning families alive. Solidarity and victory to the Palestinian people. This is pro-Hamas. This man is supporting Hamas.
His influence is nothing in comparison to the multi-billion-dollar media operation.
I just want to call this guy out. That's what I want to do.
You can call him out.
I just spent
and you can ask
2.5 hours calling out Israel. So now this guy, second thought, he's supporting Hamas. He is pro-Hamas. That's what
call him out.
Hold on.
Okay.
Solidarity and
are Hamas and Palestine the same thing, or is the Palestinian government fighting Hamas too? There isn't really a Palestinian government. There was one election nearly 20 years ago that Hamas won, and Hamas has basically been like criminal, like gang leaders of. There's no democracy in Palestine. There's no real government. Hamas's leaders enrich themselves while radicalizing jihadists. Most people in the Gaza Strip are children, and even ignoring that, most of them have no faith in Hamas. There's just like, there's nothing there. Yeah, there's the Palestinian Authority, but how much real governmental control does the Palestinian Authority have? Also, Hamas is in Gaza, not in the West Bank. Yes, Hamas is a Gaza thing. I mean, I'm sure there are some people in the West Bank with sympathies, but they're concentrated in Gaza.
There's no other way to interpret that, and it's evil. He continues, imagine someone comes to your town, murders your neighbors, kicks you out of the home your family lived in for generations, and relocates you. Are those occupiers civilians? No, they're criminals and accomplices in genocide.
So this is second thought being completely wrong. Notice how in his hypothetical, the person who murders your neighbors, kicks you out of your home, and relocates you to an open-air prison is all the same guy. Yeah, if that one person is the same, if that one guy, probably not a civilian if he murdered your neighbors and then took you to a camp, okay? But the problem is he is ascribing this broadly to just all Israeli people. Like, are these occupier civilians? I don't think every Israeli was the one who killed your neighbors and took you to Gaza, I don't think that's the case.
I'm just calling it out.
Okay.
This guy's a fucking, he's a scumbag.
If you want, you have the opportunity, you can speak to him if you want on this particular issue.
I'll think about it. But
so I don't know why, like, you're...
I'm not demanding you respond, but I simply, as a matter of doing the show, want to call out the people that disgusted me. Because again, I hear this all the time. People go, "Oh, really? Well, show me an example."
I know, but
here's one.
No, of course there are examples of this. It's just entirely and utterly inconsequential, and I 100% stand by that.
It's not. He's an influential man. When you're,
I don't think it's inconsequential. I think that people on the online left immediately doing this, like, yeah, Hamas is liberatory and all Israeli civilians are legitimate military targets. I think it's pretty fucking stupid. Yeah. I don't think that our behavior on this one is going to like make or break peace in the Middle East. I don't think that Israel would behave better if we behaved better, but I think it's important to talk about and call out. Yeah.
You're treating this as if it doesn't matter at all. And that's,
yes,
you're not
I don't think it matters at all.
And you're not Israeli.
Yeah, I don't think...
This is really dumb. I have no idea why Hasan here has to pretend that like a large content creator making incorrect statements has no effect. And I have no idea why we would like pretend to die on this hill. Like that's really, really stupid.
But I think he's evil.
But I also will point once again that what he's saying here is the Israeli policy in the other direction. It has been the reality in the other direction.
Which is not good.
I know you don't agree with that, but I'm saying because you don't agree with that, it is...
This is the main problem I'm having with all this stuff.
I know that's the main problem you have with all this stuff, and that's why
I think it's very funny that while mounting an implicit defense of second thought here by like argumentum ad irreleventium, Hasan essentially says, well, second thought's not that bad. He's basically just doing the same thing as Israel, but reverse. Which is like, oh, isn't that really bad then? Wait, so if second thought is just employing the same essentialist logic that Israel is while engaging in its genocide, isn't that actually a really good argument for criticizing it?
What do you think is the solution here? What should be done with him for saying that?
What criticism doesn't stand on its own? Why do I need to like be punitive?
No, you said you're upset. I mean, I think you're well within your right to be
criticizing. I'm criticizing. I'm not asking for.
I think you're well within your right to be critical of it. Yeah. Like I said, though, I will reaffirm my position that if he was saying this about Palestinians instead of Israelis, that would not only be not condemned at all by a singular person, that would be the specific policy position of the entirety of the Western world.
So again, yeah, it's like, so he's just doing woke reverse Israel policy. That's bad. Okay, whatever, dude. Whatever.